Travel for Thanksgiving is starting now. We are following those flying home for the feast and how travel is looking this holiday.
And we're learning more about an arrest made in Marion County. We'll tell you what charges the man is facing.
Cloudy skies could affect your weekend plans and even make a cameo over the holidays. Coming up.
From the University of Florida's College of Journalism and Communications, you're watching WUFT News.
The next week leading up to Thanksgiving could be a record breaker for millions of travelers flying for the holiday. Welcome to WUFT News' First at 5. I'm Serra, Sowers.
And I'm Sandra McDonald. TSA officials say they expect to screen more than 30 million passengers this weekend.
AAA predicts that Thanksgiving weekend will be the busiest for flying in 18 years. AAA officials are projecting 55.4 million Americans traveling home this Thanksgiving. Officials encourage travelers to arrive approximately 2 hours in advance of their flight. This will ensure that they have time to park, check in, and go through security. Gainesville Airport officials say the main parking lots do become full and passengers may be directed to overflow lots, which could...
The UF Students for Justice in Palestine is suing Governor Ron DeSantis for his administrative order mandating that public colleges deactivate the student group. They are represented by the American Civil Liberties Union. They have submitted a motion to the 1st District Federal Court of North Florida asking it to pause the deactivation order. The order alleged the UF chapter was associated with and adopted the speech conveyed in a pro-Hamas document published by the national organization of the same name. ACLU argued that the administrative order violates students' First Amendment right to free speech and association without censorship.
I think the only person that has so far understood what this is all about is the new president of the University of Florida, Ben Sasse. He said very succinctly, speech is protected, violence and threats of violence are not. That's what the First Amendment is all about.
Other defendants named in the lawsuit are Raymond Rodriguez, the Chancellor of the Florida State University System, Ben Sasse, the President of UF, and all members of the Florida Board of Governors and University of Florida Board of Trustees.
A letter to the Biden administration asking for ceasefire in Gaza is on its way to Washington after a unanimous vote from Gainesville City Commissioners. Mayor Harvey Ward called the vote after community members asked city commissioners to pass a resolution supporting the cause. He says that as long as conflict involves human lives at stake, he has no problem voicing the community's concerns. With this effort, Gainesville follows behind several other cities calling for a ceasefire.
And it was overcast all day today and the sun didn't come out, but this is the first dry day this week. WUFT's Julia Haley joins us now with more on when the sunshine will return.
Sandra, we did trade in our sunshine for some rain and even some cloudy skies. If you take a look outside of our studio, just clouds overall. You can't even see the sky, just overcast throughout the whole entire day today. And we're currently seeing the last bit of some showers along the first coast as they begin to dissipate and leave our area. But overall, just clouds in our area. Temperatures sitting in the 70s, 72 Ocala, 74 the Villages, and 73 Daytona. So staying in the mid-70s across north central Florida. And tonight, dropping into the 60s with those cloudy skies starting to ramp up. I'll let you know what those cloudy skies mean for your weekend coming up.
And a Marion County man is facing charges of inappropriately touching a young victim. Today, the Marion County Sheriff's Office arrested Jarrell LaVoss Wilkerson. They say he was inappropriately touching a child under the age of 16 and made inappropriate comments towards her. Deputies say he later admitted to the charges and is currently being held in the Marion County Jail with no bond.
A car accident in Marion County killed one person and left 6 others injured. Several 911 calls alerted Marion County Fire Rescue about 2 cars that crashed on I-75 southbound lanes around 9 last night. According to officials, the callers mentioned one of the cars rolled multiple times before hitting another one. One car was left upside down and the other on the median as seen on the screen. 2 of the 6 injured were taken to a local hospital, according to officials. Florida Highway Patrol is investigating the incident, but for now, officials say the cause remains unknown. And on the last day of National Crash Responder Safety Week, the Highway Administration wants to remind you to put forth your best practices while on the road. The initiative is working to remind drivers to stay alert so they don't accidentally hurt people who are responding to traffic accidents. Ocala Fire Rescue says you can do your part by slowing down and moving over for traffic accidents.
Florida taking a step towards economic resilience could mean a makeover for some of our local springs. WUFT's Levi is in the studio with more on account of money allocated for the springs.
Earlier this week, Governor Ron DeSantis awarded $57 million for springs protection. The money's broken up between Florida's water management districts, and several north central Florida springs will receive part of the funding. Wastewater and stormwater projects were identified by the Florida Department of Environmental Protection in 4 of Florida's water management districts to be recipients. Southwest Florida Water Management District will receive more than $4 million for the Crystal River Wastewater Treatment Facility. St. Johns River Water is receiving $3 million to benefit Silver Springs. And the Suwannee River Management District will get nearly $2 million for Post Springs here in Alachua County. The projects aim to increase spring flow and improve water quality, as well as protect the spring scenery that attracts visitors every single year. Florida is home to more than 1,000 springs. Live in the studio, Levi D'Amato, WUFT News.
Thanks, Levi. Coming up on First at 5, we have more information on the festive events happening in your neighborhood this weekend.
And we'll tell you about some volunteers helping others who do not have a place to call home.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome back. As the holiday season begins, the activity at food banks ramps up. WUFT's Alex Land explores how this impacts one local food bank, the Bread of the Mighty.
Boxes upon boxes of food, the beeping of forklifts, and lots of volunteers. 3 things that capture the Bread of the Mighty environment during this time of year.
According to a study by Feeding America, the holiday season is the busiest time of year for food banks. So organizations like Bread of the Mighty are preparing.
This time of year, we see a huge uptick in community engagement. We have a lot of food drives that are going on right now, local businesses, schools, nonprofits.
Bread of the Mighty is a nonprofit organization that collects and distributes food to the community. Throughout the holidays, the food bank has more local events, volunteer signups, and food drives. Bread of the Mighty members are staying busy this time of year to push their mission forward.
The goal is really to help raise people out of poverty. So we know that here locally, about 1 in 5 of our community members are suffering from food insecurity.
Director of Partnerships and Programs, Serra is encouraging more community involvement to prepare for the holidays.
So there's a couple great ways that the community can get involved. One is through volunteering. That can be volunteering at our food bank, or that could be volunteering doing food drives with their local communities. You can do them at work, do them at school, do them with your neighborhood.
Bread of the Mighty distributes resources to over 170 nonprofit agency partners. These agencies include food pantries, homeless shelters, and churches, helping several local communities. Bread of the Mighty is working to ensure North Central Florida families can have a happy holidays. Alex Land, WUFT News.
To help out the Bread of the Mighty this holiday season, you can register to volunteer on their website.
And watch out for bikers during your commute this Saturday. Bikers on Parade is holding its annual bike ride. Starting at the Dave & Buster's at Celebration Point in Gainesville, the motorcyclists will continue their ride until the end in Ocala. Law enforcement agencies will be helping bikers along their ride. The fundraiser will raise awareness about veterans and first responders in need, according to American Hometown Veteran Assist Incorporated.
Twinkling lights will shine all over downtown Ocala to kickstart the holiday season. The annual light-up event will be back for its 39th year this Saturday. Over 100 vendors will be at the event for people to get food, make crafts, and enjoy the arts. The Junior Sunshine Holiday Parade will also make an appearance. The event runs from 4 until 9 p.m. And I know I'm planning on driving home for Thanksgiving, but I'm a little bit worried about all this rain that we've been having.
Me too. Julia, are we going to see more cloudy skies this weekend?
Well, cloudy skies are here today to stay, and so are some Thanksgiving travel problems. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about the best and worst places to travel after the break.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
We traded out our sunshine for a rainy week, with those rain averages even nearing around 4 to even 5 and 6 inches around not just Melbourne but also Orlando. So seeing those rain chances from the past 24 hours above average, and humidity as well, 97% in Palatka, 96 in St. Augustine, 91 in Jacksonville. So you can feel that mugginess outside. We do have a flood warning around Daytona Beach, and that means that you'll see those wetter conditions. And also, look at that. We have those cloudy skies outside, 70 degrees outside of our studio, and those overcast skies are here to stay for this evening. Those temperatures sitting in the 70s, 72 Ocala, 72 Gainesville, and 70 Lake City, as we're staying pretty mild due to those cloudy skies. And this is an increase from what we saw yesterday with that rain. Now really just seeing those drier conditions, and a jump in temperature by 8 degrees in Ocala, 7 in Bronson, and 8 in Cross City. And for your Friday evening, expect those calm winds to stay. We're also staying mostly cloudy as those clouds continue to stay in our area, with those lows in the lower 60s for your Saturday morning. And that'll be around most of north central Florida. We're even seeing that chance for fog around Daytona and into the villages, also St. Augustine and Palatka. So when you wake up in the morning, walking your dog, take a look outside, you'll see some fog. You might want to turn your headlights on as well when you go drive. And for your Saturday, staying cloudy, rising into the mid 70s. And for your Sunday, once again, mid to upper 70s, but seeing that chance for some sunshine around the morning. And for this week, really looking at that Thanksgiving travel, the question on everyone's mind. So for your weekend, expect some showers around the northeast, especially around New York and even into Montreal. And if you're planning on traveling, some flights may be delayed, but this isn't due to weather quite yet. This is actually due to traffic, Thanksgiving traffic. So Palm Beach International and even Orlando, it's due to that volume. But we could see those flight delays due to weather, especially around New York and Washington, as we do have this cold front moving toward us. And as this cold front moves toward us, expect some showers along the way. And for your forecast, we're looking at a drop around Thanksgiving. Back to you.
Coming up in sports, we have a rivalry doubleheader in Gators basketball. Kelly Ray Finley's Gators women tip off what is set to be an action-packed weekend.
You're watching WUFT-TV News.
Welcome to sports. I'm Rafael de los Santos. A wise Gator once said, winning is great, but beating FSU is even better. The Florida basketball program will have the chance to do just that tonight. Not just once, but twice. Florida men's and women's basketball are facing the Florida State Seminoles on the hardwood. First up and just across the street from our studio, the 3-0 Gator women are currently battling it out against the 12th ranked Noles. At last look, UF leads FSU 56-49. Beyond the huge rivalry win, victory tonight will mean a perfect 4-0 ace of every in-state school on the Gators' regular season schedule. With notable wins over UNF, Bethune-Cookman, and FAMU, Todd Golden's men will cap off the doubleheader in what will be the 75th meeting between the Gators and rivals Seminoles. Tonight will also be a Gator first for a certain Florida player. It's a debut in orange and blue for grad transfer Zion Pullen.
Yeah, I think it's, a big rivalry, not a bad first game to come back to. So I think, the crowd energy will be great. And, I think, a lot of the guys on the team are juiced about that game. So we're looking forward to it.
Last time out, the Gators defeated FAMU as Pullen watched from the bench. The 6'4" point guard from California Riverside will make his much anticipated Florida debut tonight. Pullen was forced to sit out the first 3 games of the season after taking part in exposure games during the spring NBA draft evaluation process. Both teams are in search of the first win this season over a Power 5 conference opponent. Tip-off is set for 7 p.m. Away from the Florida FSU marquee, the Friday night lights shine down on the high school football arena. It's playoff time with regional semifinal action between the Hawthorne Hornets and Newberry Panthers. WUFT's Anthony Martinez previews a quarterback matchup pitting a championship legacy against a young gunslinger with a score to settle.
Behind me, the Newberry Panthers prepare for their biggest game of the season yet. backfield. Get through there, Johnny. Good.
Tonight, the 9-2 Panthers take the gridiron to face off against the undefeated Hawthorne Hornets in what is set to be a sensational contest.
Coming into this week, it's hard. There's a lot of different things you're thinking about. You're thinking about the game and winning it, and then you're also thinking about the week 2 loss to them.
For the Panthers, this is a revenge affair. 30 points is what stood between the Panthers and a tie ball game in the September 1st matchup. But with an ever-growing young quarterback and sophomore Keel McGriff, this time around, the offense is more than taken care of.
Keel's special, man. He's a really, really good kid, super athletic. Is making really, really good decisions this year. He's maturing in that position, and he's a weapon.
A weapon that has led the Panthers offense to scoring 34 points or more in 8 of their last 11, including a first-round victory of just under 50 points. But there's one thing Hawthorne has over Newberry in the QB spot, one with state championship experience.
TJ, he's a quarterback. He's been my starting quarterback last year, and we won a state championship. But I've seen him make throws off his back leg, scrambling, throwing to the opposite side of the field. He can make every throw.
With a back-to-back state championship campaign and a chance to achieve high school football greatness for the first time on the line, these two powerhouse teams are set to match up tonight at 7:30 p.m. Anthony Martinez, WUFT News.
In addition to that game, Union County and Fort White will kick off a regional semifinals round featuring North Central Florida teams in 7 games. Williston will have the chance to face the winner of that game with a win over Pahokee. In the 2S District, Bradford will host East Side in a Week 4 rematch. The Tornadoes won 35-7 last time out. Vanguard and Buchholz to round off the playoff slate. They will be hosting number 4 seeds Zephyr Hills and Ponte Vedra, respectively. Florida football is on the road against the 9th-ranked Missouri Tigers tomorrow night in their own search for bowl glory. Florida's defense will have their hands full with Missouri's Cody Schrader. Schrader will face a limping Gators rush defense that has struggled since losing linebacker Shamar James. Schrader comes in as the SEC's leading rusher. Through 10 games, Schrader has racked up 1,124 yards on the ground, good for 11 touchdowns. To put his dominance into perspective, Florida's Trevor Etienne and Montrell Johnson Jr. have combined for 1,253 yards and 11 touchdowns. Additionally, the Gators duo has 31 more rushing attempts than Schrader. Last time out, Florida saw the Jaden Daniels show run the Gators out of Louisiana after a 234-yard game on the ground. Daniels' performance will go down as one of the best against a UF defense. Florida needs one more win to become bowl eligible, as Schrader and the Tigers present a steep climb for this Florida defense to conquer. After what has already been a historic season for the Florida women's cross-country team, the Gators have a chance to ink their name in the history books as they are set to compete in the NCAA cross-country championships in Charlottesville, Virginia tomorrow. Florida earned its NCAA championships berth as one of 2 auto-qualifying teams emerging from the 2023 NCAA South Regional. Junior Parker Valby won her 2nd consecutive NCAA South Regional individual title in 2023. Valby looks forward to traveling to the team's national title shot following the team's SEC championship. Also on Sunday, all 3 Florida-based NFL teams are scheduled to play. The Jaguars and Dolphins head into their matchup as favorites, while the Buccaneers come in as 12-point underdogs against the 49ers. So to all fans of both the Gators and the Bucs, at least it's almost Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Rafael. Before we go, do you think there's any more spots over at that basketball at the O'Connell Center?
I don't know. I hope so. Let's get one last check on the weather.
If you take a look, currently seeing those cloudy skies outside, and then for your Sunday, sun is going to shine. So excited for a drop in temperature by Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Julia. BBC World News is up next, and PBS NewsHour is coming up at 7.
But your Florida news is always on at WUFT.org. Have a good night.